Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup, second match here in Group D, so the upper bracket again of the more quote-unquote balanced decks. We have Chaos Dragons from 2012, it's going to take on, I guess a returning deck I feel every year in the Cross-Banlist Cup series, but every time somewhat of a different deck, different variant, you know, synchro-based, Exceed-based. And that's of course Infernities, Exceed Infernities. It's going to take on Chaos Dragons, a decklist from 2012, first place from, was it a particular YCS in the States? I think so, very similar to Peter Gross, his list from, was it YCS Toulouse back in the day? I'm not so sure about that, but anyway, which deck has the advantage? I could definitely agree with the people seeing that 58% votes for Infernities. I could definitely agree again simply because of the most, or at least the most, and indeed the more powerful extra deck. I guess Infernities does have like a bigger toolbox, right, compared to Chaos Dragons. Then again, if Chaos Dragons go first, they, you know, have that sixth card, right, and stuff like Future Fusion, which is pre-errata, so you know, you can immediately painful choice 5 dragon types from your deck to the graveyard, which is, you know, superb for this deck. Especially with also pre-errata Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, let's not forget that. But going second against an Exceed Infernities, and if they open well, it's very hard to, you know, get you through that. The monster board is not too big of a threat, but their back row is that depending on, you know, the extenders, potential soul charge or whatever, they could end on like barrier plus 1, 2 or even maybe 3 Infernity breaks, you know, the Raigeki break, right? And that's a problem. That's not, I mean, that's something that not too many decks can play through. The field spell here in this case, I guess, is just another Infernity Archfiend Search, which is again another, is there a Street Patrolling Graveyard? Okay, so that's another plus. Arc or Key Beetle, basically with that combo of Vanity's Emptiness, right? You know, protect your Emptiness or target something like your Barrier, for example, to make it safe for your opponent's Mystical Space Typhoon. And here in this case, obviously you want to break, yeah, that's the name, right? Infernity Break? I think so, yeah, break, to pop Lila, and Dark Flare Dragon, I guess, is also cute to potentially, you know, set up your graveyard, banish a card from your opponent. Here in this case, the only Infernity card from the graveyard, but I guess in the long run it doesn't really matter too much. You know, the good old school interaction between both Pulsar and Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is kind of disgusting, but at least later in like Yu-Gi-Oh history, you have so many answers for that. Like here in this case, Arc, I was like, oh yeah, Arc Knight is still a card. You know, in attack position with Pulsar, I guess maybe putting it in defense position, but I mean, you can still go for Dweller, so I don't think it matters, even in this case. So okay, Chaos Dragon's going first, and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is, I guess, okay. But, you know, the deck does have, and I'm looking at Infernities, it does have multiple outs for the potential, you know, Dark Imprisoning Mirror. The Solar Recharge, I like the, even though it's not super consistent, it does give you free mills, right, for your Chaos Dragons. And this, I think, you know, at this point, this should give me the biggest, at least the biggest push, or the big push, potentially for the game. Again, pre-errata, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, having the interaction with Pulsar as well, Dark Flare on the left, but there is no Dragon type in my hand to be discarded for the effect, right, because of the, it also has like that built-in Foolish Burial effect. This is not a strong start for Infernities, and I was like, maybe, you know, test out maybe some side tech, yeah, because of that, right? Like Vanity's Emptiness, maybe some side tech to back rows. Not really sure about, I know Emptiness is there. I think it's only Emptiness. I believe that there's stuff like Malevolent Catastrophe, but you're obviously not going to side tech that in. Maybe you know, I should have, you know, probably gone for Dark Armed Dragon immediately, but it is what it is. I think the Veiler, I mean, drawing Veiler here in this particular matchup is of course superb. I don't need to explain that, but it makes sense that having Veiler against that potential, you know, Necromancer or, you know, an Archfiend summon, not in draw phase, but you know what I mean, it could be game winning, especially because of this, it gets rid of the potential threat as in Necromancer. So again, Infernities is left at top decking, right? Plus, during the next turn, 5-head dragon should hit the board. Yeah, there it is. Oh, 5-headed dragon all the times. Ooh, okay, Future Fusion pre-errata, right? Okay, so next tool, game number 4, again, go second. And this is not the best opening hand. The potential effect failure could have been very, very solid, but no effect failure. There is already double Chaos Boss Monster in hand. Tour Guide and both Card Trooper are the normal summon, and that's not good, simply because Trooper is kind of sacky with the mills. If I mill light and dark, it's fine. But if not, I'm in a very tough position. So I think the best top deck cards here, I was about to say Future Fusion or Charge or something like that, but you know, like Infernity here in this case, basically goes full combo. I'm not so sure like on how many interruptions the deck is going to end. There is already the Barrier Key Beetle being activated, so I guess 1 extra Search, 1 Reborn for Archfiend, so that's 1 extra break. So I guess double interruption, that's not really too powerful, right? Like a potential Heavy Storm or something like that could, you know, turn the tides, maybe, because then there's only 1 interruption left. Card Trooper does not, I believe, only mills Eclipse, and that's tough. And this should be the game, right? The top deck here was it an Emptiness? So I guess here, obviously, you want indeed negate effect failure with your Infernity Barrier, establish your board. I guess go for Dweller, maybe? Necromancer has already been used, right? I think so. And again, use Key Beat. Oh, yeah, okay, Art Knight. I'm not so sure about that, but you know, flipping over the Emptiness, okay, that makes sense. And this is like this combo, this 2-card interaction is really disgusting. Like, even though you lose a card on your side of the field, it's sent to the graveyard, your Emptiness is still protected because of Key Beetle, and that's sick. Even though, you know, you're using your own cards, they're sent to the graveyard, normally your Emptiness would get destroyed, but here in this case, not the case, and that's a problem. So okay, 5 gamer, going first, and this is again a decent opening turn. Like Pulsar not live, maybe, you know, try to test the waters with Card Trooper, but I go for Zen Mains for some extra protection, plus Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. But as I mentioned before, like the Mirror is kinda okay-ish, but like Dire Wolf is definitely one of those cards that is like an instant out for Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. So, and on top of this Soul Charge. But okay, the game is not over yet. Zen Mains in defense is kinda strong, plus the Soul Charge, so there's no battle phase. So I still have at least 1 extra turn. Thing though is that I don't think, no, well, okay, I was about to say I don't have any light and darks in the graveyard, but you know, like the Tour Guide and Sengen are attached to Zen Mains plus potential Card Trooper. Like, I guess best case scenario is to draw one of the Light Swords, right? So I can use Solar Recharge, potentially force out an Infernity Barrier, and then, you know, storm away, etc. Like, these are some standard Infernity combos, right? Dire Wolf, pop your own stuff, still use Launcher, you know, getting those multiple pluses, and I believe there is 1 unknown set. We know the barrier is set on the far right here from our standpoint of view, which is protected by Beetle and 1 extra interruption, so at least we know 2 interruptions. So I was like, okay, let's test the waters a little bit, see if there's any form of interruption. Not yet, so I was like, okay, let's go for Storm either way, force out Barrier. Because there is a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon in the graveyard. So again, I don't want, you know, that Pulsar getting negated, but again, Red Eyes is indeed going to get destroyed by at least the one-off negation we know. But we now see that I think it's a mind control set. I think so. So, you know, using Zen Mains, pop, what is it? Necromancer, I think, again, not giving the Infernity deck the potential comeback plays or more interruptions during my turn. Card Trooper gives me an extra draw, and here I believe Valhalla Chain is using its effect to put a monster on top of the deck, which is of course going to be the Archfiend. We don't want that. And Dweller is definitely an excellent choice because it blocks the Pulsar in graveyard, but I think the best top deck again was a Chaos Boss Monster, and well, BLS was a good one, or would have been a good one, but Pulsar is definitely also one of them, because I think there's also a Red Eyes or even Dark Flare in the graveyard. Again, as you know, if Pulsar leaves the field, you know, destroyed by battle, for example, you can reborn like a big dragon type, a dark one, so Dark Flare or Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. And this is not going to end on, you know, this is not going to end too well. Allure for 2 draws and not drawing a dark, and that's game over. So kind of close. Even though Infernities went first, this is Duel going well, back and forth. I still think we have a well-deserved winner, but it could have, gone either way. So next matchup, last group, we have Danger Thunder, so a Thunder deckless Danger, hybrids, guard dragons as well. It's going to take on Tearlaments, and again, like, feel free, for some, at least give some suggestions about the Tearlament list. Already, looked at some suggestions in the previous videos, but there might be some better builds pre-Shizu. Okay. Guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a card or like if you enjoyed the video. Liam signing out. Peace.